Greetings, fellow degens. Another day, another dungeon run. And if you're looking for my general thoughts about Dungeon on Exodus, it's here. If you're still playing Dungeon right now, then I commend you because I do think it is one of the harder factions, especially on Exodus. We start with a lot of Tier 1 and Tier 2 units. I think Dungeon Tier 1 and Tier 2 units are harder to use than other factions. Um, Compare that to something like Temple Ostingers. They're double shooting. It's a much easier to use unit. It's much more effective in the beginning of the game. So, I do think right now Dungeon is in a hard spot. So if you like self-inflicted pain like I do, then it's the perfect faction for you. One thing I've been trying out is more of a econ focus with my first building or my first city. In my guide, I start with Mage Guild and Lightning Bolt, but I've been thinking, even though I do want Lightning Bolt eventually, do I need it right away? There are cases where probably I would like to have it, but where it's good is against ranged units and flyers, things that I need to pick off individually. Non-walking units. Do I really want to fight them in the beginning anyway? Not really. So I've just been going double palace to start getting my econ up right away. I've also been thinking more and more. At the beginning of the week, we definitely want to focus on econ as much as we can. That's going to give us the most benefit. With getting the two towns, we do have a decent fighting force. So we can leverage our decent force in the beginning to get money and allow us to build up our economy as quickly as possible. We also need a lot of wood and ore. So in the first 3-4 days, I have put a very heavy priority on gold, wood, and ore so that we can actually upgrade our cities. I think this was a 5 stack. That's pretty hard, and I know that when we accept 5 that we're gonna lose some stuff here. Unfortunately, that 1 extra would have been helpful. Uh, but we have to do it. Even if that was 6, I would be doing it. It's just pain we have to accept because we need the gold, we need the XP. Um, I think ideally we get 4 out of Miria's altar because we lose almost nothing, and that's the sort of fights we really want. It's things where we can get them as close as possible without losing anything. I would love to get this gems here, but having to go against fawn archers this early, no thank you. This map I would actually say is a pretty poor because I still have not found wood or ore. And that's pretty unusual that we would not get wood or ore by now. I would say if we were in the MMR region, being able to restart, this would be a restart for sure. I think probably as we get closer to 2000 and I'm thinking about using restarts, the main probably thing I'm going to use to determine whether we restart or not is do we get wood or ore, wood and ore, because this is going to allow us to build up our palaces or banks right away, and that's what I'm thinking we want to do. building up econ at the beginning of the week is optimal, I would say. I love playing optimally. Not the best firewall map here, but trucks are decent for using firewall, but this fight is going to hurt a little bit. This is a lot of trucks. And it would have been kind of hard to place a firewall as such that we could kill a lot, guaranteed. There are not a lot of great choke points on this one that are like too wide. So we want to use firewall on the top ones because they're going to get to us first when we use our blockers down here to buy us time. Here's a case where it would be nice to have lightning bolts as an in-between spell or after the firewall, because I just don't have enough juice. I don't have enough damage here to prevent them from getting to us. So it would be very nice to have lightning bolts here. So this is like one of the costs of trying to build econ right away, is we don't have lightning bolt for a case like this. And we'll see how much that actually costs us. It's basically, looks like it's costing us basically all of our infiltrators. Is that worth it? I don't know. That's a lot. We lost 18 infiltrators there. If we have lightning bolt, we probably lose 0. So again, I'm on the fence about, should I buy Mage Yield right away? Or should I try and play a little bit greedier and get the palace first? I'm at least experimenting, but I think that fight right there shows where lightning bolt would have been really good. Would I rather have, because essentially if I build palace first, I'm basically going to have an extra 1750 gold. If I build Mage Yield day 3, that's when I would build it, because that's when I'm going to be at my city again. So it basically gets an extra 1750 gold. Is that worth losing 18 infiltrators? Probably not. But that's just like one example. There might be other games where, you know, I don't need the lightning bolt and the extra 1700 gold is good. So even right here on the map, we can see that I still do not have wood and ore, which means I probably should not go for this mercury. I'm desperate for wood and ore here, but I'm also like just trying to fight because locusts are one of the, or hive units in general, are one of the best units to fight with firewall. So I just kind of want to take this fight and get the mercury. I do want to get all the resources so that we can get our spells. That's sort of like one of the most important things. Spells require all of the special resources, so, and we have a lot of buildings that require all resources, so we do need to get them, so it is most efficient to get them on the way. But right here, I do need a lot of wood and ore. So I could have also put the second firewall up here, but I figured if I just put it down here, I'd kill a locust and parasite. This one I'm not worried about. I can kill him by the time he gets here. I also want to get the other firewall to take care of, you know, other locusts down here, because they're going to come down here. So we do have mana pools, so a lot of times we get, well, basically it's a 3-mana lightning bolt, so we can use a lightning bolt relatively freely here. See, we only lost 5 frogs there, which is not bad considering what we had. Not too shabby. That's another thing about dungeon. You do get a lot of trogs. More growth than most. But they're gonna die a lot. So just accept that, you know, trogs die. If you look at a lot of other factions, they have great ranged. So they can prevent a lot of deaths. Our range is tier 3. Our dancers, that's our first range. So it is not easy to prevent deaths with such conditions. So we finally get our first wood on day 4, which is god awful. Very painful. I really would like to get this stables, but if I get it, I'm going to be getting it on day 4, which is not the best. This is not the direction I really want to go. So I decided not to get it. It's just a poorly placed stables. It is very tempting, but I don't think it's even worth it. Although thinking about it now, it's probably like a neutral thing for me to go there. Like movement wise. Because I probably get the movement back over the week. But it does give me an extra fight. So maybe it is actually worth doing. But it is way out of place. So I think that's not clear. I think I don't take this fight. Maybe I should. This wood is another like. This wood and ore is more nightmare fuel. I mean, they're like, I have to go through this to the other side, especially this ore. And there's only one wood stack there. So, a really, honestly, very poor map. The wood and ore were in bad spots, and I did not get much. As far as like just laying on the ground. So overall, I would say this map is very bad. At least right now. So far, it's been a nightmare. When I was playing it, I know I was not happy with the way it was set up, especially when I saw that wood where it was, that second wood. It's so hard to continue to build your cities when you don't have wood and ore. And I think that oh, actually, I mean, look at this. Right now I'm bugged. I can't cast anything. I can't put my firewall down. I remember this. So this is another just moment of pain. Because I could not cast spells for the rest of this. So it means I'm going to have to just, I also think I can't hero strike. So you can see I can't target the ground. So I'm like praying to be able to fix it, and then the time runs out. So I'm just like, well, I gotta play it. I mean, this is so brutal. This is all losses due to a bug, or at least a lot of these losses are basically due to a bug, and losing guys like this so early makes this a lot harder. Everything snowballs, so I'm trying desperately to figure out how the hell to fix this, but um, nothing works. So I just have to man fight this, which as a magic user you don't want to do. You don't want to be put in a situation where you can't use spells. It's very unfortunate. Another thing I'll mention, I've actually reported its bug, but there are several spells that basically Zakron doesn't get bonuses from. And one of those spells that's currently broken, or at least I think it's broken, is Firewall, the spell he starts with. Because Firewall is currently not affected by sorcery, which is a starting skill. It's also not affected by his specialization. So I think that's got to be wrong, because why give the guy a spell which has zero effect by his starting skill or specialization? So I have reported that as a bug, but currently Firewall, I mean, if you think about it, if you have expert sorcery and you're even just level 1, that's 40%. You shouldn't be getting extra magic damage. So we're basically missing out on all of that damage at Zakron currently. It does work for Lightning Bolt and Fireball, so those spells still work. But there are other spells like Firewall that are currently bugged. At least I think so. At least I hope so. That are not working. So this should be a relatively easy fight. We're going to kill 3 of these guys with Firewall. And we also have Magic Arrow and Lightning Bolt, so should not be losing much here. I didn't buy the units at the 3rd city we got, because we just need more to fight with. This buys us some time. Now we're worried about these 2 because they're the ones that are going to get here first. These 2 guys wasted their turn. I don't know if I shouldn't be doing that. I probably should just wait for this guy to come up, because not sure he can kill anything. But it's only cost 1 drop. I almost said droplet. 1 hoplet. We do at least get a Minotaur place. That's like the first good thing that's happened to us this game. I do think Minotaur dwellings are probably one of the best, if not the best, dwelling to get on this map. And the reason I say that is because when we get the 4th or our other dungeon cities, we can immediately build a labyrinth, and we don't need to build any other buildings. That was pretty terrible placement there. Out of all the places I could be, I'm in the place that I could get killed. But anyways, so Minotaur Labyrinth is really easy to build in the other cities, so we immediately get the usage of the dwelling. It's just really easy to use. And if we have 4 labyrinths with a dwelling, that's That's a lot of minotaurs. I do also like seeing hydras, obviously, trogs. I've also been thinking more about using black dragons. I do think if it goes to round fight 3, you will be building dragons. You should be. I try to avoid them, or I've been trying to avoid them, just because there are a lot of resources to use. But I do think uh, as I've gotten a little better, it's been easier and easier to get the resources needed to do that. And I also think just like building more economically optimal, in the end, it pays a lot. So, and it helps a lot to get dragons in the end. I still haven't actually gone to an end game where the black dragons were relevant. So it is a rarer case, but I think especially if we have a black dragon dwelling, we're gonna want to build dragon dens in the third fight. Only if we go to the third fight would I say that's super relevant. In the second fight, it's nice, but I don't think it makes or breaks the game. So it's day 7, and we're finally going to be able to get our gems. Gems out of all the resources are the ones we want the most. We're also under leveled at level 5, I would say. Typically, we want to have at least 1 level a day, I would say. That's just a good baseline way of looking at it. So we are under leveled. This fight is going to be annoying. We're gonna use spells on the bottom one and try and close the gap on the top one. Bait out with the hoplets. Hopefully they go for the hoplets. Good, they went for the grove guys here. That's what we wanted. And this is kind of why we want to wait to do these range things, because it gives us more options, gives us time to get Avatar. Avatar is another great way to handle ranged, but obviously we don't have it at the beginning. Trying to do this one in the beginning, we could do it, but after we had already lost all our infiltrators. Oh no, this was before we lost our infiltrators. Our infiltrators would be the best unit for the Fallen Archers, but I just didn't feel like losing them all, even though we ended up losing them all anyway on the Trogs. So I actually don't know if we would have done even any better on those Fawns than we did on the Trogs. It's just theoretically the Trogs should be easier with Firewall, but they're also better fighters, and we couldn't kill them all. So there's really not... I'm looking for something to do here. We at least did manage to get our Hydras on the first week, which is one of my main goals. Although I've even been rethinking that goal. Maybe it's better to try to maybe sack some city progression to try and go for another city earlier, get more Trogs and infiltrators. Because if we go like Mage Guild 2 early and get Fireball, which basically would we could just get lucky rolling at fireball, but if we have all of our mines, then we can just buy fireball and upgrade it right away. And if we have expert sorcery, expert thaumaturgy, then we'll have level 4 fireball. That's very powerful. It will give us easily give us the ability to break without losing too much, with some exceptions there. You know, for like magic resist type of mobs, but most things they fall quickly to fireball. So, and if there are a lot of stacks on the map, like unit stacks, the more the better for fireball. So I haven't actually done that too much yet, but I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking, is it better for me to try to get hydras, like to make sure I get hydras in the first week, or to get a little less progress unit tech wise and try and go for the other cities where they're already going to have tier 1 and tier 2 buildings? I'm not sure what the answer to that is, but I do think maybe it's possible that getting a full stack of tier 1 and tier 2, or if we get there early in the week, get a second week, or if we get there before the end of the week, get a 2 weeks of drugs and infiltrators. And we could also buy a labyrinth there if we have the resources. So this is pretty brutal. I barely can't kill this red dragon. I don't know how much life it has. 12. I can't do it though. Oh right, I did early start here. Right. I don't really like losing 15 trogs. That hurts. And I think anytime you do a black dragon tower, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose something. You're gonna lose either infiltrators or trogs. If you have them, that's who they go for. That being said, I think you still have to do it if it's efficient to go for it. We accept the pain. It's worth the reward. Because trogs, I mean, it also gives a lot of law points. I definitely have been more on the side of like trying to just make sure we fight efficiently rather than saving too much. We have to be willing to accept some losses so that we can progress. We have to shed our exterior shell like a tarantula. But that involves some pain. That's just the way of dungeon. You have to accept some losses. You can't just sit back and ranged and hope for the best. Although once we get Avatar, that totally changes, because then we can just sit back and let our Avatar and spells do most of the work. But in the first week or before the first fight, the whole thing we're trying to do is get to that point where we can basically use our spells and our Avatar to do most of the work for us. But the starting part is the part that's going to take the most. You're just going to feel a lot of pain. The range we have is not going to make our job easy. I will say though, having these four, the nice thing about having Hydras versus Trogs though is that the Hydras can step forward and tank. I don't know if I should be attacking there with those minotaurs. I lost 2 there, which kind of hurts. I think also he just did an attack adaptation. But I'm kind of thinking like he's going to get to us, so, and I could morale here. So maybe it's right for me to just bait out this. I think there's just probably no way around just taking some losses there by the minotaurs, unless I go forward with the Trogs, which maybe I should be doing that. I'm not really sure about that one. I mean, I only have 4 Trogs, so they're just gonna get 1 shot. So right now, I do have a lot of money. So maybe at this point I should be trying to get out of the zone. Typically I don't want to leave the zone until I have enough resources. But here I do have a lot, so although I'm running out of wood pretty quickly. So my thought is that basically once we have enough resources to last us a build day or two, that's when it's a good point to start going for the other city, because as we go to the other cities and do our break, we're probably not going to get a lot of resources along the way. It's a lot of travel time and less fighting. And so it's kind of like a long-term investment. So before we break and do that travel, we want to make sure that we're not going to need resources immediately, and that we can continue building in our cities that we already have. And then once we capture that city, we go back and we see, do we have enough resources to keep building? And if we do, then we can go for the next city. And if we don't, then we need to get resources before we do. I think in this case, I didn't see what my resources were at the start. But I think a lot of this was just, I think the most sort of conservative fallback, a safe play is to just keep farming in your first biome until the first fight. That's just like, I think that should be the default. And then if you have some conditions that you feel like you're far ahead and you can go for that long-term investment of going for the other city and or cities before the first fight, then I think that's at least the way I'm thinking about it. But the safe thing to do is just stay in your biome until the first fight, get as many resources. I also am not really going for stats at this point. You could go for stats, but I feel like we are about to go into a fight, so having some extra stats would be helpful. But oftentimes if you go for like stats, like trying to go around and get artifacts and these kinds of things. The cost of that is you're gonna have to probably get less resources. But since I think like getting, an extra, 3 or 4 stats in a fight at this point, it's probably not going to make the difference. Whereas if we don't get resources now and we sort of focus on getting stats, then magic slippers are amazing, by the way, for magic. 2 less mana on all spells, amazing item. So we end up getting a pretty good artifact anyway. But anyways, if we don't have enough resources going into the next fight, we're going to be trying to build on 4 different towns. 5 if you count the off city, the off race city, which we're not going to. I tried to put a firewall there to get that hornet, but I don't know if he goes. I don't think he goes in it. But anyways, we're gonna need a lot of resources coming up, and I think I sort of see phase the fight 2 as sort of the main economic fight, where you're going to be using the most resources, because you're going to be trying to get to the... You're going to be developing your 3rd and 4th city. You're going to be trying to build bigger buildings in your 1st and 2nd. The forts, the treasuries, these kinds of things. So you're going to need a lot of resources. So it's good to sort of be ahead of that rather than behind that and having to use marketplaces early, because it is extremely costly economic to trade early. So, and maybe I'm completely wrong about that. Maybe you should be going for stats to win the fight. And I do say very strongly we want to win the first fight. But I think the difference in stats that we can get in the amount of time that we're talking about is relatively small, whereas the amount of resources we can get is relatively high. So I think this is also a good time to be getting any dwellings that are in your zone. I mean, it would be better to get them before the end of the week, but this is a good time to be getting the dwellings, because once we start leaving the city here, we don't have that many opportunities to come back to the first biome. Once we leave the first biome, more than likely we prefer to do stuff in the higher level biomes to get their better stuff. So we can see here I'm just like trying to do as many of these resource places as I can. These give a lot of law points and resources. These are one of the easier ones to do, these abbeys. We accept whatever losses we get. 4 dancers for 5,000 gold and 8 gems. We take that. I think I want it would be nice if we can walk back to our city here, but I don't think we can. So that we could get the rest of our army and leave the city. But I don't think we have the movement here. We do have a ton of resources now, though, so this is usually the time if I'm going to upgrade our... Oh, I ended up getting Mage Guild 3 there. That's another thing, I mean, that's probably more impactful for me to do, is buying Mage Guild 3 than getting some random stat item. Right, this gives me an actual 3rd level spell. I do have primal magic, so with this fight coming up, although I didn't actually look at which spells I got, so that probably would have been useful. It probably would be useful to have Stone Fangs here, if I could have gotten it. I'm not sure. I think I just blanked on that. I bought the Mage Guild, but didn't even look at the spells. Whoops-a-daisy there. Putting our ranged in the opposite corners. We're going to just try to buy time. Yes, 29 upgraded light weavers. That's probably the scariest thing he has. The Ossingers are what we want to target first because they're high damage, low life. So we're going to try and kill them first. Unfortunately, we do not have a 2nd level in Primal, which would make our Primal spells level 4, and would have probably killed this entire stack. Came in as a humongous, it's very good single damage spell. So one thing we do not have here, and don't think is, yeah, we don't have Avatar, which is very unfortunate. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I could have maybe used web on... Although I'm also thinking it is hard to... I should probably at least test here for the cleanse. Yeah, the hard stack here is going to be these 26 light weavers. That is a lot, and they're upgraded. I didn't use Fireball the first round because it probably would have been nice. Where I would have used it, it's probably on these Griffins and Swordsmen. That might have been a better move, I'm not sure. But my thinking is we kill the glass cannons first. I do think when I first saw this fight, I'm pretty sure I was gonna lose. Because I think the light weavers, I just don't have enough units here to sort of live long enough. Because the light weavers, there's a lot of them. And also the 70 stack of the swordsman is also going to be a bit painful. The fact that he has Avatar and I don't, that's also a bit brutal. I'm gonna try and kill these light weavers first. Magic arrow is very good against Avatar because of the multi-hit. He lost 7, I lost 4. I think that's probably... Is that the right thing to do? I don't know. Ouch. The morale on the light weavers, that hurts. Yeah, that's tough. He's getting just a ton of morale. Try... Note to self. Try and get Monster Head. Since we don't really care as much about our army, Monster Head and Ring of Neutrality are definitely good items for us to get. As Magic players. We don't want leadership. Luck is at least considerable because we could get Primal Luck. Primal and Luck and get luck on our spells, and that sounds at least fun. Is it good? I don't know. But it's at least arguably fun. And I'm fine with fun. But leadership, there is no advantage for leadership for magic users. There is no casting morale. It would be nice if they did that. If you could morale and cast another spell of the same school, or get another cast, then I think leadership can be considered. But if your main thing is spells, leadership doesn't do anything. So we lost the first fight, and I feel pretty... I'm feeling not so good about the way things are going. But especially with the bad start, looks like he has a decent army. But I'm going to play it out. We did play more economically. It would have been nice to win the fight. But considering our bad start and considering that we went for economic, we started investing in our economy already ahead of time. We're going to at least try and see what happens, although I will say I'm not feeling good about things at this point. This Hydra with 4 life and a dream, or with no life. Just trying to say everything I'm doing now is I'm trying to save this Hydra. I don't know if I can. Oh, looks like I did maybe. So yeah, I'm not feeling good so far, but one of the things I want to sort of that really is important to remember about this game is there's a massive amount of variance. Our opponent can, I mean, at any moment we could get this run of like amazing things all in a row on the map, and that can sort of change our luck. We do get a second Minotaur in place. We got a second Minotaur place incoming. So that's good. We like the look of that. But I just think, even though I'm not feeling good about things, our luck could change. And also, our opponent, you know, could do any number of bad plays. They might get complacent. They might think, oh, I won the first fight and this guy sucks. So I can do whatever I want now. So, which I think is just sort of a human reaction people feel sometimes. So I wanted to at least try and play it out, even though, again, I'm feeling like we're probably behind. Well, we're clearly behind. We lost the first fight, but our battle is uphill. I will say the one thing that is redeeming for us, I think, is the fact that he still only has, he didn't have any tier 5 through tier 7. So clearly he hasn't invested into his higher tier stuff. So is that actually a problem? I don't know, because he won the first fight. Maybe what he's doing is actually the better way to play, but I'm thinking at least I have these things. I'm already building into these higher level units. I at least have something going for me, some kind of advantage. I also think if I had taken Stone Fangs that last fight, if I had made sure to have it, then maybe that would have also changed the way that fight went. I don't know. He did have a lot compared to what I had, so maybe not. But we also didn't have Avatar, so I would say there's a very high chance that by the time we get to the next fight, we're going to have Avatar, and it's going to be expert. And that makes a big difference. We at least are getting logistics here too, or we got it earlier in the day, but this is the best time to get it, I think, is for either want to get it at the beginning uh of the fight cycle, like first day, or like if you get logistics on day 1, day 2, that's good because it's gonna pay off by the time you get to the fight. Whereas if you get it on day 9 or 10, you don't really have time to get return on it, and it doesn't help you fight either. So getting it at the beginning of fight 2 is actually in my guide. I say that's the time I want it. So that is a good thing going for us. And also we're getting to the point where fights are getting a lot easier. Our spells are doing a lot of the work. For some reason I have my hydras trapped, but I think that's just because I'm not using them at the moment. So we now have double dwelling minotaurs. We'll skip through this one real quick. So we're gonna have a lot of minotaurs in the second fight. Theoretically. We could have a lot. And now we're getting this spell power artifact, which is nice. Definitely like this +2 spell power, and it's an easy fight. I'll just skip through these kind of fights where we're not doing much. We do bait, although I'm not sure that's even necessary. It probably wasn't necessary for that Trog to die, but you know. Oh, we got Avatar, good. This is the break, Star Children. Fireball, very good spell. Now we just need to get our Avatar to block these guys. Probably what I should do here, because this guy isn't going to be able to reach. What I could have done here instead is use my infiltrators to get closer, since I knew that probably I want my avatar on the bottom. I should put my infiltrators down here so that they can move close and I can summon the avatar closer to block both of these, because these guys got a shot off, so I'm not sure. What did I lose? I lost some dancers. So this is nice. This is a box with the other half of the set item that we literally just got, which is another spell power item. So far our fight 2 sequence is going a lot better for us than the fight 1. Fireball's going to be doing work here. Looks like I still didn't learn my lesson about trying to get my infiltrators closer. It's a lot harder to learn lessons in the middle of the game. But that's why we're watching when I'm not actually playing, so that I can... I guess this works too. So we're just trying to get our avatar to block the Hydra or the Medusa shot. That's all he's doing. Pretty brutal morale there. I didn't need to have my infiltrators there. I guess if I had them down here, they would have died anyway. So nothing could be done about those losses. At least with my army here. The only other thing I could have done is not have them in the actual group. I don't think it's good to have a minimal army, even though we could do that. It's better to have as big of an army as possible, I think, because what it does do is, if you need to use it, then you can use it, and 2, it shrinks the stacks that are on the map. The number of stacks. Although in that fight, I guess it wasn't really relevant. And also, now that I'm actually saying that, we kind of want more stacks with Fireball, so I may have just contradicted myself. I'll just say I feel safer bringing my whole army. I'm not manly enough to bring a smaller army and maybe potentially lose something like a Hydra or Medusa, something like that. So I would love to get this Arcane Tome, but that battle is just way too much. I mean, that's a beautiful Arcane Tome light. These spell places, spell altars, these are some of the when I see them, I really like them. They're like a lottery. Sometimes you get an amazing spell. It's so awesome to get judgment out of a light altar like that, or some level tier 5 spell. Especially when we have expert sorcery and expert thaumaturgy, and we're getting +2 levels. It basically means any spell we get out of there is going to be level 3 right out of the gate. And if we do get a school, then it's going to be level 4, so those spell altars I see as high priorities as Magic Hero. But that one is a little too, that one is pretty tough. So we will come back to that one later. We do want that Arcane Tome, though. We want that Arcane Tome for Rewind Life, but also has Black Hole, which is an amazing spell, among other spells. I'm out of movement here, so We have a decent amount of resources. We're a little low on wood, but we do have enough to keep building stuff. Or enough gold. Also, we can focus right now on, since we do have a lot of ore, we can focus more on fortifications, which require ore. And we also have our ore law, so now is the time where we can, basically, we have a lot of ore now we can use it. And we weave in when some wood buildings every now and then, since we are low. Again, we still don't really want to trade right now, if we can avoid it, because we're trying to get to the law that basically we can trade without markup. Once we get that, then we can just go balls to the wall on trading. But until then, we use it very as little as we possibly can, while still making sure we build every turn effectively. So now we're going to go for our next city. The one thing I do want to make sure is try and make sure that we have 4 Minotaur labyrinths by the end of the week, because we have 2 Minotaur dwellings. So we can have a lot of Minotaurs. And that could be our saving grace and get us back in the game. Fairly easy break. Just move in and get our avatar close, and the rest of the fight should be pretty easy. I guess our avatar is still pretty weak, so it's going to take a little bit. Or we're going to take a little bit of damage from these guys, because we can't kill him yet. I don't really want to hit that guy yet. I want to do some damage to him first. This is a good case for where having the extra guys at this time is useful. Having the extra army, because that definitely helped me for this Trog group here. We end up losing 5 Trogs, which is not bad. We're double second winding for 7 mana each. We like that. With the slippers and the logistics sub skill, that's very good. Now normally I do like to get to this city as quickly as possible, but if there's things just right off the road that are fairly easy to kill and also have a good reward, then we're going to do that. But we don't want to just like do something just because it's there. It needs to make sense. Pandora's box is one of the best things to go for at this point, or really in the entire game. So throughout the entire game, and ghosts are relatively simple. So 1 Trog for 10,000 gold. That's a good trade. We're gonna do this because this basically, getting this mana thing, this double mana thing, basically gives us the freedom. One of the biggest constraints of magic heroes is their mana, and one of the biggest problems with them is a lot of times you have to move inefficiently because you need to end your turn inside of a city to get mana. So by doing this little move here and doubling our mana, filling up our mana, it basically is going to give us extra movement in the future because we're not going to have to like go back to town to get mana, which is going to allow us to stay in some area, not have to travel back to it. So this is a very strong building here, whatever you call it. I also knew like we're not gonna get to this town this day, so it sort of makes it easier to be like, well, we're not gonna get there, so let's just get what we can along the way. That's good, and this is a very good building to go to. And now we have plenty of movement to get to the town today, so we can be a little bit more open to what we get along the way. We have plenty of mana, so none of this really concerns us. Once we get expert avatar, these fights are going to be even easier, but we do have to at least take a little bit right now. Or we have to at least move something in. Probably should not be clumped up against Medusa. I don't know that I really lost much there, but I think I lost a couple trugs. Oh, I lost some fighters too, or some dancers. It's still worth it, so, but don't clump up against Medusas. Good lesson. So this is one of the harder fights. I mean, this probably is not going to be hard for us. But these things are annoying because they take so much reduced magic damage. I'm pretty sure I did not consider using Umbral Grip here. I don't know if I have it. But Umbral Grip is also a good solution for these. I also did not use Fire Maul or anything right away because I wanted to clump them up first so that I could Fire Maul next. Yeah, I think this is probably not a big deal of a fight, but I don't remember exactly. I feel like I made some mistake here. I probably should have been more willing to go in with my Hydras. I was a little scared of this 15 stack when I went in. I didn't want to lose a Hydra against these. That would be sad. I didn't lose anything. Okay. Thank God. 15,000 gold for that. Pretty good. This is actually a very far city that we've had. Very far road. So we do see this these toads, and we see that +6 spell power rod. I immediately saw it. I'm like, oh, that's juicy. But that's some foreshadowing for, because I'm not doing that fight yet. I do it later, and it's a funny one. Funny is in quotes, because it's pretty brutal. I have. Needless to say, those things are very hard for, those toads are very hard for magic users. because they have magic community up to spell level 3, and at that point this is all I have, so I don't do it now. I've had trouble with these before, these toads, so they do scare me a little bit, but I saw that staff, the +6 spell power, and I'm like, I'm coming back for you later. I wanted to get my next week's army, and then we'll handle that. Unfortunately, I did not see that tier until too late. Would have been so nice to get that on this turn. Would have been very good. So let's see if I at least get my labyrinths in all my cities. Got one there. It's not 4-3, unfortunately. Also, I can't get... Usually I can get the marketplace resource lot by like week 2, day 5, day 6. But I still don't have it yet, so... But I do need to trade to get the labyrinth by the end of this week. I want to make sure I get all these GC minotaurs. Because it was the end of the week and I had 3 points, I probably should have done my Hydra growth thing, but I'm trying to save for the marketplace law. And also, I guess that I only had 1 Hydra place, so that would have only got me 1 extra Hydra. So, is that worth it? Probably not. It would make more sense probably for me to do Medusa, because that would give me, I think, 4 extra Medusa. Which is probably better than 1 Hydra. But I think in the end, it's probably just better for me to save those points, because I want to get the marketplace law as quickly as possible. Because now we're starting to get a little bit low on resources, and we can start trading our excessive gold. We have a lot of gold. We can use that to get any resources we need. So, looks like this fight is done. Oh, another reason not to clump. I can see that once we start getting into this situation where we're mostly using spells to end fights, it probably doesn't make any sense to clump up so tightly, because we do run into some mobs that have area effect abilities, and so we're just clumping and taking more damage from them. So I think once we get to this point, we need to start spreading out our units. It's probably okay because we probably don't need to protect our ranged. We have plenty of time to like move our hydras or minotaurs in the way to protect. So clumping at this point doesn't make much sense, and all it does is cost us more. So this should be a relatively straightforward fight. For some reason I go in with my minotaurs. I don't think that's necessary. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. I guess I'm just trying to speed up the fight. Still don't lose anything, so I guess it's okay. I don't know if it was really necessary though. I think I get... I'm not sure which one I get here. Oh, I get all tier 3 spells, huh? I think maybe the... I mean, it does give us stone fangs, I guess. Although, am I even using the item? I think I'm using the spell power item right now. I think that conflicts. I'm not sure. But I think the relic, the sorcery relic, might be better there. Because it gives us the 20% magic penetration. And it also gives us more magic damage. Plus 10%, I think. So, I think that's probably the right play. Although it did give us stone fangs right there, which is nice. Although, if I didn't have stone fangs, I'd be using fireball, which is also good. I'm not sure, I didn't... Is this a break? No, I don't think this is a break. That would be desert. I'm not sure. I don't remember what I'm going for here. This is a lot of chillins. So I feel like I'll probably lose something here. But I don't know. I don't really need to leave here because the chillin couldn't get to us. I fireball everything there. I kill my own guy, but I do that so that I can fireball everything. There is no other way to fireball. I really don't think I needed to go out there with my Hydra, but I also don't think it's necessarily bad. Can't use cave-in on that guy. So we just web him, right? Yep, slow his ass. Dang. Unfortunately, lost 5 there. I thought it was probably avoidable in some way. But we're okay. Just trying to get out of the path of this guy now. But, you know, he's not going to do much. Yeah. Oh, we're getting the scales. Okay, 4 spell power. We take that. We're not going to go for the black dragon, I can tell you that much. Okay, suckaby. Usually not that bad when you have fireball. Although we do have stone fang, so use that instead, I guess. Makes more sense since we kill 4. Is that 666 damage? Jesus Christ. We lose some guys, but that's to be expected. Can't fight, you know, 7 range stacks and expect to lose nothing. But I think that's probably all we'll lose. Yeah, 5, 28 drugs and 5 dancers. Acceptable losses. As said before, Trogs, you know, they die. That's their job, they die. Bit of mismovement there. Really would like to get to the city this turn. I see this heartbeat here. Would also love to take that, but I am a little bit scared. Okay, I'm a lot scared. I don't know how many worms are there. If it's 50, then... or closer to 50, then I think we can do this relatively easily. But if it's closer to 99, it's going to be a lot harder. So I decide not to do it. As much as I would love to have that item, I think that fight is just a little bit too scary. The Stone Fangs is very nice here, though. Right, it gives us an extra stack over Fireball, which is nice. Actually, now that I wrote, what I should have done is I should have had my Stone Fangs. One of them killed this. I guess it doesn't really change things. I was thinking if I kill this middle one, then I can put my avatar there and block 2. But that doesn't really change anything, because then I leave one extra one open. Or I kill one of the other guys that I can't block. So now we're going for this beautiful staff of +6 spell power, whatever it's called. Also starting to rally these troops. Feeling good, feeling confident. I guess I get rid of those boots because I want to build my labyrinth. Having a wood problem, but we can trade for wood now. So get all our basic resources. Try not to have to worry about trading for a while. That will allow us to build treasuries, these kinds of things. Out of all the things I could have built, I built a marketplace. I mean, I guess it's okay, but I could have built my hydrogen. I guess I'm trying to save a little bit of money. Why did I not build treasury there? I don't know. It's beyond my comprehension. Don't build a resource depot when you can build a treasury. Special note. It says impossible battle, so I'm thinking, oh man, we got this. I have to get very creative in this one. So unfortunately, after I did this, I immediately regretted as I'm looking at my spells and I'm thinking, what have I done? I don't have any spells to kill these guys. And these guys also have a disgusting poison, which is very brutal. So we're gonna buy us as much time as we possibly can with these crystals. And when I see my avatar can only kill 3 at a time, I'm like, oh shit. Oh, this is gonna be brutal. This one is going to hurt. I should not be using spell power here, really. I do thick hide, that's the one thing I can do. I'm trying to set up like one-on-ones. Because I don't want to get surrounded. But they chewed through my ice. Ouch. I lose 2 and he's now poisoned. I'm not sure I even have the fighting style for that. So I'm not sure that even makes sense to do. It might make more sense to just go for the regular hit. Trying to buy more time with these crystals. That guy gets completely blocked in. He's gonna be in there for a little bit. Frog prison for you. Ouch, lost one. Oh man, this hurts. 228 damage a hit for 2 turns. My hydras are now poisoned. Oh. Why did I not? I didn't. I should have casted Arena's Touch. I should have casted Riposte. I'm not casting any of the buffs I could use to buff myself, to help me. I should have at least be buffing myself here. I can maybe use... can I even use Cave-In on the... Oh. I guess it doesn't even use it on everyone. Although I think my Arena's Touch is a expert scroll, so since that gives me max HP, I probably should be using that. But look at this, my freaking minotaurs are just getting totally owned. So basically, all these good things that happened up to this point, they basically are nullified by this damn fight. I really wanted to get that rod, that spell power rod. This cost is way too high though. 6 spell power is not worth, I think I had 36 minotaurs. If you ask me, would I rather have 6 spell power or 36 minotaurs? I'm gonna say the minotaurs. Jesus Christ. I lost everything except 3 hydras. That is just brutal. So, big lesson. Do not go for those toads as a magic player. As a magic hero. Unless you have a spell rank 4 solution or higher. If I had chain lightning, that would have been an easy fight. But because I did not have chain lightning, or black hole or something like that, circle of winter, these would all be very good solutions. So I was feeling good about my chances. Things were looking up. And then I went for that fight and everything fell apart. So, good lesson to be learned there. Don't go for those fucking toads. Unless you know what you're doing. There I got totally baited by that staff, because I've had good experiences with that staff, as seen in my last video. But in this case, the defender protecting it was just a little bit too brutal. It would have been better for me to go for those worms and go for that heartbeat, because I'm pretty sure that I can beat that fight no matter what, the worms. But I was scared I would lose a decent amount. But all my spells would work. Stone Fangs, Fireball, all those spells would still work. So I probably would have lost less, getting a better item by going for those worms and the heartbeat. Instead, I went for the less good item with the harder mob for me. That's not the way we should play. I also basically did not move on that last turn. Because it took all my time just to do that fight. So, not counting the fact that I lost my entire army, I also lost that entire turn, basically. So, awful, awful, awful fight. So now I'm thinking, well, I'm just playing this out to basically lose the game. Because losing, your entire army right before, 2 days before the fight, that's not very good. But at least I got this cool staff. We do have Shadow Flight now, so I don't really need to use mana here, but I guess Fireball is not that bad. I probably could have just done Lightning Bolt on the archers and then done an avatar down below, but we do get expert level Berserk, which is nice. I am very scared to do that Arcane Tome now. If I had just lived through that fight with a little bit more guys, I would be a lot less scared to do that Arcane Tome and that Daylight Altar. We do at least have 29 spell power. So we do have something. Not all is lost. Gross. We lose 5 minotaurs in auto battle. On a battle we should lose absolutely nothing. So that was not a good auto battle to do. But I'm just obviously very I'm feeling very demoralized at this point after that devastating frog loss. I get a little bit of dust here because I know I'm building upgrade buildings. I definitely want to try to upgrade my hydras, even though I don't have that many. Every little bit helps. Well, need to just move now, running out of time. But with our spell power, all of these fights should be pretty easy. So I'm pretty sure I don't lose anything here. Yeah. We're just fireballing an avatar. That's it, nothing special. One of the things that would be nice if we could just auto battle through these types of fights. Unfortunately, we don't have the technology yet because I think the casting auto battling is not the best. So what I would love for them to do is if they said when you auto battle, you're allowed to use these spells so that they don't try to. I think that would be one of the simplest ways to get a better auto battle results with spells. If I could say you're allowed to use lightning bolt, fireball, stone fangs, summon avatar, and just stick with that and just see whatever the results are. And then if I don't like the results, then I can use it, or I can do the fight myself. But when the AI gets choice of any spell they want, they're going to use a lot of shitty spells that are unnecessary. We don't lose anything there. Primal Tome, that's nice. That's a nice little pickup right before the fight's coming up. Just trying to get as much money as I can so that I can buy everything that I need. Even though, you know, it's not much to buy. It's a pretty meager army. That's an easy fight. I don't think we lose anything here. I think maybe he can get some morale here. No. Yeah, that's a free fight. We're getting our Hydra dwelling, you know, right before the fight, which doesn't do much for this fight. It's just 2 Hydras, I guess. Collecting resources, easy fight. I don't think we're gonna lose much here. If anything. Oh, we lost a Minotaur. But, you know, hey, what's one more Minotaur from the already, you know, 50 we've lost? One more. Few trogs. Probably mostly unavoidable losses in this kind of fight. This animated armor is not an easy fight for us. Since, you know, we're all spell power. Deck of spells, I'm not even sure what that does. So now we're just trying to get our upgrade. Get our Hydras upgraded. Just full send it. This is I figure the game is basically over here because well, it's definitely over if I lose, so might as well go all in. It's also, there's no big deal about going all in with dungeon when you have the trading law. So this could easily be like an 80-90 stack of minotaurs, which I would feel a lot better about. 40 is not really what we want, but okay. But then we actually see his army, and when I saw his army, I was like, wow, we could actually win this. We could actually win this fight. His stats are slightly better as far as fighting, but I have more spell power. We have more tier 6s upgraded. We have about the same amount of upgraded tier 4s. I have more trogs. We have our 13 Dusas, which are tanking here, which I'm totally fine with. They're just buying us time. Unfortunately, we're going against the red orb, which is one of the worst artifacts in the game. Worst design, I mean. There is no equivalent. There is no might equivalent to the red orb, which I'm going to keep complaining about. I think what the red orb, at least one improvement they can make to it, is if they said instead of you can't cast, is make it so you get one less cast. So that basically you can't get your main cast. so that people who don't have thaumaturgy, they can't use spells, but at least magic heroes can use one spell. That to me is at least more fair. Taking the ability of magic heroes to not be able to cast on the first round, to me, is just awful design. It's like an artifact saying to might heroes, you can't move, or you can only defend this turn. You can't move or do anything because as a magic hero we can't do anything. All our spell power, our 30 spell power means nothing except through battle magic. It does mean something in battle magic, but as spellcasters it means nothing. But still, I would say based on army, I'm feeling like we can win this. He only has 8. And he goes for all our range first, which we expect and we're okay with. And we have a decent start with chain lightning. No, we got a nice stone fangs here. Summon our avatar, probably should do that. Yeah, I think that makes most sense to try and block his 33 stack. We kind of want to move our infiltrators from the middle here so that we can use our hydras to double attack. Did I just get unlucky strike? Am I cursed? I'm not sure if curses go into this fight. Maybe they do. The double strike kind of sucks. Trying to go block with our infiltrators against the 33 stack. Our trogs are handling the griffins. And we have a lot of trogs, so for him to chew through. And he hasn't even touched the hydras yet, so. Oh, there go the infiltrators. Unfortunate. Oh, these guys don't really get a turn. Not much of one. So we did block the 33 stack from shooting with the avatar, so that was good. And now he's like all grouped up for like a fireball or a chain lightning. Circle of winter. I'm not sure what he just cast. Oh, he uses early start on his weavers because he needs to kill this minotaur stack before it moves. Being mean to my trogs. Oh, he casted heavily blades, I think. Low morale on my hydras. Chain lightning. Now he's probably feeling demoralized. I actually have primal magic or anti-magic, so I should use, if I was gonna do something like that, I should have done anti-magic on this avatar. Cost me a lot of hydras to do that. Also, the low morale on my hydras is pretty brutal. But I still feel like at this point in the fight, I'm feeling pretty good. There, I just went over anti-magic because I'm like, why the hell didn't I use that? Um, Unfortunately, my trucks are not doing well against these Inquisitors. We're winning the fight against the Griffins, and then the Inquisitors came in. So now we use, I'm pretty sure we use Despair here, since he grouped up with this Inquisitor and Griffin. Yep. Despair is a great spell against Inquisitors, so... And we win the second fight. This was very surprising. And then he leaves the game. Which I think is perfectly fine for him to do, because if he was going to win, he needed to win that fight right there. So here's really the main lesson that I got from this and that I want to impart upon all of my fellows here. Anything can happen in this game, and the best thing we can do is to make the best decision that's in front of us, and we need to just keep doing that. It's easy to get emotional in this game. When I did that Toad fight, I'll say I was emotional. I already, felt like we had a really bad start, and we were starting to come back, and then it just like took all the wind out of my sails. So, but luckily we had done enough, or I shouldn't say luckily, because it was all by design, that we did as much economic investment as we could early on to sort of help us get get a good second fight. So we still ended up having more tier 6s. We could have had a lot more minotaurs, but even as we did, we still had basically the same amount of tier 4s that he did. So, and we had great spells and great spell power, better than his, so just hold on to the fight. Try and play it out. I mean, I can understand, if do you want to spend an hour or more trying to win a 5% chance? That's a lot to ask. But I will say, at least when you think you have a 5% or a 1% chance, you might actually have a 20, 30, 40, 50% chance. So we can only see what's right in front of us. We can't necessarily see what the opponent is doing. So that's an unknown, so we should not assume that they're having the greatest game that's ever existed. We can assume that they might be having problems too. So let's play on. Oh, you made it this far. You are truly a degen, and I love you for that.